Yeah.
Work it out. Man. Work it out.
Live from your, if it's sunny out, how come I'm still depressed? Bowl of gummy gazpacho.
Ew, gummy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Congealed jelly. It's a Business Pants Friday show here at May 1st Studios featuring analyst Matt Moscardi. On today's weekly wrap-up, May Day madness, Greece hates trolls, and the glass ceiling beneath the glass cliff.
Look, you fall right through when you step off,
I don't know what that is. Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics, freeflowanalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power, connections, performance for free, blah, 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 blah. I did notice going
Maybe blah, blah, blah,
to
blah, blah.
freeflowanalytics.com today that some of the data issues have been fixed, so I am here to applaud that.
Yeah, you should applaud that. And listen, if you listen carefully, maybe Riverside will make it work such that we can hear the audience applauding, which I don't hear. So
yeah, well, I don't want to hear them. And I will say that freeflowanalytics.com, even when there are bugs, is still a great resource. Most of us don't have access to things like, I don't know, MSCI, ESG Data Manager, whatever it's called. And when you try to use AI, try to use regular Google search, try to go to websites and find board information, just even simple board information, it's inaccurate.
It's really bad.
It's not all there. I mean, just for simple things, FreeFlow Analytics might be the greatest free repository of that kind of corporate information out there.
You want to know what made me feel, I don't know if better is the right word, but I was talking to Gemini because I could not find a list of...
This is how you're speaking now. You're talking to a chat agent, whatever you call it.
Yeah, it's not a real person, but you're talking to a computer program. But I asked Gemini to give me I gave it a list of, from a website of SpaceX directors.
Yeah.
And I said, can you confirm or deny with citations that these directors are actually directors at SpaceX? And you know what it did?
No.
It said, these four are, here's problems in your list. A lot of these are gone or NEOs. And here are the citations. And one of the citations was Free Float.
Oh.
Not kidding. It basically said does
Free Float get $1 million for that?
It was Free Float reporting like on a Reuters report about like the broken, the jailbroken S1 that was filed, the confidential S1 for SpaceX that had some of the directors in it, and we reported on it. And Gemini picked it up and said, like, here's some real directors. So
is the show over now? Are we done?
All right, let's do something.
All right. We had some criticism earlier. I love criticism, by the way.
Who criticized us for anything?
I was one of my majors was a creative writing major, believe it or not. And, part of the creative writing major at undergraduate schools is you have to workshop your work and you get criticized. I love it. I think it's important and healthy, unlike most modern day CEOs who are also their own chairs and they own all the voting power and they're snowflakes and they can't get I like it. But we've been, I think we were criticized that we do way too many, we focus too much on data and tech. But help me out. How do I stop doing it? I'm just reflecting the news that comes through. That's how our system works. We just tag the big stories.
I would say that maybe there's a bias in where you're getting your news, but I know where you're getting your news.
True.
And it's thousands and thousands of sources.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not possible.
I'm sorry, there isn't a lot of refrigeration news from the from the cooling industry about some lead director falling asleep. But I wish there was. All right, let's just get going. Today is May Day, May 1st. Supposed to be a day to celebrate labor. So I'm going to say my first story is a happy May Day stories, but here's what's really happening. And I'm going to try to go quickly through this because these are the stories that came up just this week. It seems like it's been ramped up, the craziness, I feel like, at least the last few days. So May Day 2026, the top CEO pay increased 20 times faster than workers' pay in 2025. We know this. We've been reporting on this, but nobody...
Yeah, we talked about that.
Unfortunately, people haven't really caught up to this thought. Or they know about it, but they don't really do anything about it.
Do they?
I don't know. Rivian. We've talked a lot about Rivian, the car company. Here, the headline: they sold 42,000 cars and paid its CEO RJ Scaringe $403 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty good. He's getting paid like $1 million a car. What is that? Or $10 million a car?
And hats off to the writers at carscoops.com. See, we do cover a lot of sources. They called that or 15 Jim Farleys. Now that's really our humor.
Did they say
in the
that?
headline? Yeah, they called it 15 Jim Farleys. So they're learning from us, which I appreciate. Comcast co-CEO Mike Kavanagh lands $72 million pay package for 2025. Now this is just a co-CEO at a company that everybody hates, and he's making $72 million. Google co-founder Sergey Brin rips California billionaire tax. I fled socialism. Now, he's proudly moving to the right, this guy. Now, just so everyone knows, if they want to bring this up at their dinner party tonight, they're proposing a one-time wealth tax in California. A one-time wealth tax, okay? Let's just start there. It would impose a 5% tax on net worth above $1 billion. But of course, like all good taxes, there are a lot of potential exclusions involved here, including like your real estate empire. Sergey Brin's real estate empire is valued at approximately $10 billion. So just so you know. So
that's excluded.
That could be excluded, yeah. So
Okay.
So the math would suggest that he's worth about $250 to $300 billion. This one-time tax could get about 13 billion all the way down to 9 billion with certain exclusions. And this is the rough equivalent. If you make $50,000 a year, it means you're paying a tax of $2,500, which is what we all do every year, basically. We pay more than that in taxes.
Top of what he already pays, right?
Which is what, like zero?
Which is near zero because of all the other.
So this is what he's fleeing from. This is what he's angry about. But we're seeing a lot of this story because this bill in California, they're going to vote on this bill in June, right? Isn't it coming up, this vote?
Yeah, it's pretty fast. Yeah.
Ken Griffin slams Mayor Mamdani for singling him out as a profound lack of judgment.
Oh, what a baby! Oh,
yeah. Well, look how far we've come. I mean,
profound lack of judgment. You can't talk about a billionaire.
This is the mayor of New York City, by the way.
Yeah.
The mayor of New York City. Yeah. I think he's got pretty good judgment, Ken Griffin.
Because
Griffin you would never win. You would never win that race.
The reason why he got singled out is because he went on a conference tour talking about how he left Chicago because of bullet holes and that city was a trash hole. And Mamdani's pointing out, like, you've got houses like 12 places.
He owns he bought the most expensive apartment in New York City history, right? Didn't we say it was like 29,000 square feet, which I still can't even fathom what is that? Is that
in
MoMA?
New York City.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
He owns the entire library.
Yeah. I know. Anyway, Bill Ackman also has something to say to New York City Mayor Mamdani. Don't scare away the billionaires.
You know what? Scare away the billionaires. What the fuck do they do? What do they bring?
Wrong with these
like
people?
They don't want to pay taxes. They don't like. What
Why
do they
don't
do?
they?
And seriously, where are you going that's better than New York City? Are you going to someplace better?
Charlotte? I don't know. No offense,
unless
Charlotte.
you're leaving the country,
they don't want
where
to leave New York.
every
They're
place
not
is
going
better.
Anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. Stop crying, you babies.
CEO. This is an interesting story. CEOs got millions after boards neutralized the impact of tariffs.
Oh, yeah. This is great. I love this.
So the example they're using is from RTX. Their CEO, Christopher Calio, he got $28 million last year. So right before Trump announced the tariffs, the board decided in January 2025, they pre-authorized the removal of tariff impacts on business metrics.
Yep. Yeah.
What?
You know what? If companies were smarter, they would have pre-authorized the removal of COVID from business metrics.
Or just from the world. Just COVID from the world.
Yeah, just be like, you know what? COVID affected all of you, but it shouldn't affect me. The other one I saw was Mary Barra at GM. Their board did the exact same thing, removed the metrics, and she got a massive $40 million pay package as a result.
The compensation committee said that the tariff cost impact, quote, should be neutralized for determining annual bonus payouts because the tariffs were, quote, externally imposed, unpredictable, and unrelated to operational execution, end quote. So as we've said, this is codified
Great.
now. We have said all along it's a protected class, and we need to do as stakeholders, as shareholders, whatever you are, we have to do something about this. We have to break through the walls. That's what they're saying. They're saying that these people are protected. Their comp will go up every year, no matter what. And as a result, this guy's bonus basically doubled. It went up to $5 million this year from about 2.8 last year.
Well, because you consider everything as impacted by the tariffs. Basically, like you could basically say like anything you want. It's not exactly like they break out the tariff costs for, RTX. So there's not like some line item that says, well, here's every sale we made that was impacted by tariffs. So you can't even check this. You can't even go into their filings and figure out like, well, did you actually pay those tariffs? Now that they're getting the tariffs back because they're illegal.
Companies are.
So what happens then? Can I go out can I go like when I'm like standing in the cereal aisle at Stop and Shop and be like, I believe I should be exempt of tariff costs when purchasing these Cheerios, right? Like, fuck you guys. This was up for Asshole of the Week, and then I took it down because I got so angry. I was so angry that I actually removed it from Asshole of the Week.
So this is our May Day story. Still in the top story here, first story. I had to do this one too. CNBC had an article. We spoke to over 30 CEOs. Here's what worries them most. And I was like, okay, they're going to address like consumers and stakeholders and shareholders, blah, blah, blah. No, but here's what they say. A world of constant shock, supply chains are under strain, inflation, AI is an opportunity, but also a threat. It's like just nonsense. They still care nothing about anyone but themselves. Just nonsense.
I mean, like, it would have been a pretty cool list if it started with, we're afraid of our own employees.
Yeah,
that would have been the realest list they could possibly have.
And then finally, let's end up this story, the May Day celebration on, there was a report out, the dirty secret behind AI layoffs. This company, Forrester, they're a research firm, said that they find that firms citing AI for job cuts lack the systems to back it up. 9 out of 10 cases where they've attached layoffs to AI is pure bullshit.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yeah, there is no...
Come on.
I mean, they might use AI in the future, these companies, so they might be spending money, so they might need that money, but they're not actually, despite saying so, they're not firing you because they're already spending the money on AI. They're just saying a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what they're seeing is when they say AI, we covered this for like 5 weeks. When they say we're firing you because of AI, the stock price goes up and CEOs
but there's no
bonuses.
proof of actually an AI system in place.
You don't have to use the AI. You just have to say the AI and fire people, right? Like it's because the stock price goes up. That's it. I mean, like when Bed Bath & Beyond CEO is out there saying that they're going to have to reduce headcount because of AI.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Like selling your shit furniture does not require AI.
A plastic trash can. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually have that in my list. He said AI will lead to significant reduction in headcount. They don't even know they don't even know how to run their own business.
Didn't they declare bankruptcy, close half their stores? And now it's the AI's fault?
And then meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg at Meta still doesn't know its ideal size as it prepares to lay off 10% of its staff. So it doesn't even know they don't even know what they're doing. They know that they want to spend more in AI. They've already said that. By they, I mean Mark Zuckerberg. But there's so many articles this week about how angry and scared Meta employees are because they're basically telling people we're not done, but we don't know what we're doing. So basically live in fear, right? And again, like I know that it's difficult to focus on these types of workers because they do make a lot of money at Meta, but they've also set up their lives around a system where they're getting high salaries. And so it's pretty frightening to lose that level of compensation. I mean, any level of compensation is frightening to lose, but
look,
I get
it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I also like if you worked at Goldman Sachs or like JP Morgan post financial crisis, the world sort of looked at those people and they were like, you helped destroy the economic system.
That's true.
I look at these people and I'm like, you are literally aiding and abetting the downfall of civilization.
Yeah, you're right. And one of the things I complain about the most is that our generations younger than ours, the amount of brain power that goes into industries that are pointless that's what's really ruining America, honestly.
I mean, you are selling like ads to, and you're using Russian trolls and you're selling
for
ads
nothing.
and
not
for
for nothing. You're destroying the
literally
culture.
You make money hand over fist and you hurt civilization. You have tremendous fucking skill. Go out and do something tremendous with it.
You could be in urban planning. You could be revolutionizing, nursing tasks. I don't even know what, but just
figure out a new way of building
public
a bridge
bathrooms
so it doesn't fall down.
Make amazing public bathrooms. Yeah.
Like the goal of our lives should not be to accrue as much money as possible, which is what I was thinking actually, because like there were headlines this week, which I didn't tag. I don't know if we're going to cover anywhere else about Warren Buffett.
No, I didn't mention Warren Buffett.
So there's just stories about the AGM for Berkshire Hathaway is coming up, and the shares are way down since Buffett announced that he's stepping down as CEO.
Yeah,
which obviously. Yeah. But I was thinking about like Buffett is like near death, right? Like he's 900 years old. Like inevitably he's going to die. When he looks back on his legacy, like we love to think of him as a cute oracle from Omaha, but isn't the only thing he did make money? He did nothing else. His whole life was dedicated to taking something that was cheap and turning it, like making more money out of it.
Which is why I think he resonated with a lot of Americans, because there's something about that combination of folksiness and amassing as much wealth as possible, which is all very American.
I mean, that's it. It was amassing wealth, and he did it because it was fun. Yeah. Like he did it because it was like entertaining, and
he wasn't ostentatious. So people thought he was like a Jesus figure that way.
But he's not. Like that. Meta employees. You can fucking redesign your life around. You don't need big houses. You don't need to live in super wealthy neighborhoods. You could live in a normal house and be an urban planner for your municipality and do fucking amazing things. And I don't mean to minimize I know what it's like for people to get laid off. I don't mean to minimize that. But also, like you were working for a total dipshit asshole man baby who just spent the last year walking around being like, we need to turn companies into macho, manly. Yeah. We need to get some of the bravado back. I mean, founder mode. And we're gonna go fucking hardcore on it. Like that's what you want to work for. That's
I can't believe
your
what
legacy?
You're saying is actually real, because it sounds like you're satiring something, but it actually is what Mark Zuckerberg is up to. All right, let's second story of the week. Sam, again, I don't want to cover this. I have actually two Sam Altman stories. Sam Altman says he's deeply sorry for failing to alert police ahead of mass shooting. So he actually issued an apology this week, which is pretty rare in these circles, to the community up in British Columbia, Canada, called Tumbler Ridge. There was a mass shooting of, I think it's 8 people, happened last summer. Now, the reason why he's apologizing is because OpenAI had flagged and banned the suspect's ChatGPT account, but didn't tell anyone. How about that? How about the genius?
Suck your apology, Sam.
How about the genius behind that? I mean, can you imagine being a teacher in a school and learning of something so egregious and violent and scary that you basically ban the kid from your school, but you don't tell the police, you don't tell their parents, you don't tell anyone. You just you just say like, oh well, I did what I had to do. This is bad. I mean,
this is the most Catholic Church thing that Sam Altman could ever do, right? Like we know that we have a problem with priests and molestation, but let's just send the priest to like different church.
Yeah, I wonder why he apologized. I mean, I know it's his lawyers told him to apologize, but I'm just confused that he actually bothered to apologize.
Well, I think the strain on OpenAI, like they're not hitting the revenue targets.
Okay,
they're losing
everyone hates
Claude.
them.
Everyone hates them right now.
Yeah.
Their valuation is low. They're fighting Elon Musk in court. Like it's like not great for OpenAI, and their products are basically suck. They're getting, and I think it's like we need to look like we're not the evil empire.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, even the use of their product. Like when I do some research, I tend to use a bunch of different AI chatbots. They're the only ones that even restrict. I like to dictate through voice. You know, even that they restrict. You have to sign in to do it. No one else makes you do that. I mean, it's just the whole thing's stupid. But anyway, so I was digging around in the story just this week, a Tuesday on April 28th. They had a new blog post on their website called "Our Commitment to Community Safety." I mean, it's just full of shit, these people. It starts off by saying, we assume the best of our users, but when we detect that someone is attempting to use our tools to potentially plan or carry out violence, we take action, including revoking access to OpenAI's services. It goes on to say, like, you know, we use these automated detection systems and we access things through the content, the context, through trained person. And it all makes me think, like, what gives you the right to, like, who are you to think that you know how to do any of this? I mean, what, like, that you're providing a mechanism for serial killers, mass shooters, whatever. We already have a problem, right?
We said
like that. He thinks that this is okay. That just because they have some assessment, that who is even overlooking the assessment? I mean,
no, forget that.
Yeah.
Like, this is the same, literally copy pasted playbook from social media. Every social media company
it's not our fault, but we're doing everything we can.
We're doing everything we can. We've got all these parental controls and all these regulations.
But my point is, why are they in control of doing what they need to do? He says
for the same reason that like the social media companies were allowed to do it, because they have dual class shares and no one gives a fuck.
And the government doesn't stop them.
$1 trillion.
Yeah, well,
the reason is because it's worth $1 trillion. There's no other reason. And we don't care. The cost of it being worth $1 trillion is 8 people get shot in British Columbia and we read it in a news story one day. Like, it devastates a small community and we're over it. Yeah. That is the cost of it being $1 trillion.
That's
because
true.
if it had real guardrails, it's actually not that useful. Just like social media.
Well, no, it's actually worse than not useful. It's actually degrading our cognitive abilities.
It's just making us dumber.
Yeah,
and then
that's already been proven. I'm not just
like social media has degraded all actual social interaction, our connection to actual humans. They sold us connectivity to humans and society, and they gave us less of it. Like, as soon as you put the guardrails on, you see what's real, which is, oh shit, this actually sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Well, this is not good for me. It's bad.
To wrap up this blog post, they said, when conversations indicate an imminent and credible risk of harm to others, we notify law enforcement. But again,
except for
well, not in this case, obviously, British Columbia. But why should we trust you? I just don't understand. I feel like there should be a one strike policy. Right, exactly. Thank you. I mean, just this morning, there's articles. Pentagon inks deals with 7 AI companies for classified military work. OpenAI, Google, NVIDIA. The only one not is Anthropic. They're still the only ones kind of not. I mean, you know, I don't know that I fully believe that they're good, but they're the only ones that the Pentagon seems to hate. So it's like, I just don't know why why anyone continues to believe Sam Altman and continues to use the products. But anyway, I just want to wrap up on this. This was a April 28th blog post. Zero mention of the Tumbler Ridge massacre, zero mention of the apology, and no mention of the multiple lawsuits the company is facing because of that massacre in Canada. Nothing. Didn't say a single thing about it. Did not, despite the fact that they say that they are experts at assessing things in context, right? He doesn't even put why he put this blog post into context to anyone who might be reading it, which is that, you know, we could have prevented a massacre. So we're kind of fake apologizing and we're putting this out there so it looks like we're doing something.
I think this is not related to that. I think this is probably related to that Illinois state bill.
Okay,
right?
Well, whatever. It's all
because
a culmination.
The Illinois state bill basically says if you have some basic guardrails and you're not liable for mass shootings.
But why should they be setting their own guardrails?
Massacres.
Why are they setting their own guardrails?
I don't, like, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah.
Like, we've deferred our entire lives to like 7 man babies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
It is incredible.
Like,
it's incredible.
There's literally no guardrails on anything.
All right, I'm going to move on quickly here because we're spending a lot of time. Third story of the week. People probably already know this. There's a trial. Elon Musk versus Sam Altman. This is I don't know what this is. So essentially, Musk is suing Altman, OpenAI, and Microsoft over the claim that OpenAI abandoned its original nonprofit, which is all true. They had a benefit humanity mission, and instead it's become a profit machine. But what we really don't know is that it's just a man baby fight, and Musk is trying to slow Altman down because he hates Altman. We just don't know. But this case is. I got more to say here, but I don't know. Do we need to say more here? The stuff the thing that cracked me up, and I say that facetiously, is Musk and his lawyers say that OpenAI stole a charity. Right? He's really leaning hard on like I want this to be good. Like I'm a good guy. Right? The same week, Forbes puts out an article saying that Elon Musk tops their list of the least philanthropic. This is the list of the least philanthropic billionaires. He is given roughly 0.06% of his reported wealth, which is the equivalent of if you had $1,000, he's given 60 cents of it to charity. So he is the least generous person, and yet he's in court fighting Sam Altman for turning his back on a nonprofit. I don't know. Do you have anything to say about this? I thought I'd cover it because this is a big news story.
It's a big news story, but it's man baby.
Yeah, I don't know where it's going.
Like actually, what was interesting is watching Musk crumble under questions. Like he got asked a series of pretty basic questions, but he refused to answer some of them, saying at one point, like the lawyer said, this is a simple question. And Musk said, your questions are definitionally complex, not simple. It is a lie to say they're simple. Like they are designed to trick me. Right? Like,
well, yeah.
Look, if you are a trillionaire, which is he's going to be the first trillionaire, and you are doing things that have dramatic impacts on society, and you get flustered when a lawyer asks you a few questions in a row,
and you bark at them.
Should you have the no guardrails and your finger on the button of society?
I'm surprised they let him take the stand that early on in the. But only an egomaniac would take the stand in that situation.
It's his lawsuit.
All right, finally, this last story I just want to cover.
God, there's more.
I'm sorry. So far we have Mayday and all the horrible CEOs. We have Sam Altman's deeply sorry. We have a trial between Musk and Altman. I'm going to end on, so when we started this company, we had this theory that we wanted to cover because we thought we were looking at it as the alternative democracy, right? But in the last year or so, since the Trump administration 2.0, the alternative democracy and the democracy have kind of they blended together in weird ways.
Yeah, it's all one thing now.
So I'm going to cover that from that perspective. The big story of the week being that Jerome Powell says he will continue to serve as the Fed governor. So he's stepping down his chair, but he's staying on the
board. Yeah.
And the crony, because he's trying to prevent basically Trump and his people from owning all the votes, right? So now Trump's people, including Toady Scott Bessent, they're all sad and hurt by this. They're saying like
they're butthurt.
Yeah. Well, the worst thing he said to me is he calling it a violation of all Fed norms, which
to me we've been worried about norms.
Which to me reads it's the same thing as those. They have these unwritten rules in baseball. Like I don't even know what they are. It's like if the pitcher looks at you, you can't like smell grass. Like the point being is like they're not actual rules. Norms are not rules. These are not codified rules. He's not doing anything wrong. And suddenly the administration that breaks every rule,
every norm,
they're upset.
And law.
The same week, the same thing. The headline is Trump takes a wrecking ball to Independent Scientific Advisory Board. I think it's 24 people on that board. He fired all of them. That's okay, but Jerome Powell staying around is wrong. And then I got to cover this. I don't want to cover this because the mainstream news and the regular news is doing a better job. I hope they're covering this as much as they should. And probably the single worst Supreme Court. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's tied for first place. The single worst Supreme Court decision I've seen in my lifetime.
I don't know. The abortion
one of
was
the
pretty
I'm
bad.
going to say tied with that one. And what's a death blow to DEI and the Voting Rights Act. The headline is that we could see the largest drop in black representation since the end of Reconstruction. So, essentially, especially in the South, they're going to redraw all these districts, and they're gonna completely silence the voice of black Congress people, right? And the Supreme Court is okay with this, and much like the dual class shares that we yell about, it's really the same thing. The erosion of the Voting Rights Act directly dilutes their black people's collective power, just like the dual class directly dilutes shareholder power. To me, it's the exact same thing. I mean, this is more evil and more nefarious. I mean, I'm not comparing black Americans to shareholders, but it is sort of the same principle, is it not?
No, but it's also like the same principle applies to that the protected class wins,
Yes,
right? Like
absolutely.
Republicans maintain power, just like CEOs and boards maintain all the power.
I mean, this is obviously darker and more evil. I mean, the background of this, of course, is that the black Americans are here because they were stolen from their homeland and used as slaves. I mean, it's look. So I'm not trying to make a one-to-one analogy here, but I will make this goofy one-to-one analogy because I was thinking about how we do winners of the week, and I was thinking about, well, the winner is Jim Crow, right? Jim Crow is back, right?
Finally won, yeah. Finally gets a W.
And I was thinking about Jim Crow. So Jim Crow,
That's sad.
It was like a famous minstrel act in the 19th century. It was a white performer who wore blackface and did these horrible minstrel shows. He was a very actually successful guy, very rich, successful performer, so popular that there was a quote about him saying that the two most popular characters in the world were Queen Victoria, who was queen of the British Empire at the time, and Jim Crow. That's how big he was, right? And I looked at this guy. I was like, who is this guy? And I looked him up. His name is Thomas Dartmouth Rice, which is like the perfect name of a white director in our database, right? Thomas Dartmouth
I think that
Rice
guy exists.
And the best part of it is he received some formal education in his youth, but then stopped going in his teenage years. So he's just another dropout. And I know this is a silly analogy, but I just had to make it. Jim Crow, really, we should start renaming board members Jim Crow because, I mean, why not, right?
We can.
I mean, they're fighting back against us in this despicable way. They're gutting the Voting Rights Act. Why can't we get dirty and start naming protected white directors who've been on boards for 30 years and contribute nothing to the board, have low performance analytics? Why aren't they just Jim Crow directors?
Oh my God.
Sorry, okay.
So
I got to
exhausting.
stop.
This is like literally the most exhausting.
This Voting Rights Act thing really gutted me this week. I'm sorry. Like it's just been one of the most depressing weeks of the year. But
so I have to choose now the story of the week between like Happy May Day, which is a series of stories about how CEOs
Clearly
are basically
sarcastic,
getting rich. Sam Altman is sorry.
I just can't believe he admitted it. I don't know which lawyer told
Sam
him to
Altman
do it.
says the trial between Musk and Altman, and then Jerome Powell continuing as Fed governor. I mean, I'm not going to choose Jerome Powell because
Thought you would actually.
Well, Scott Besant or whatever the fuck you say his stupid name. Like, are you going to ask now for Trump's tax returns, which have never been released? Because that was the norm.
That was a norm, yeah.
That was a norm. That's called a norm. Yeah. Everybody normed that, right? They did that as a norm.
Yeah.
And since you're so obsessed with norms, maybe it's not the norm to say put a sitting president's face on money, or for the president to avoid doing their, giving out their tax returns,
passport,
or for so you could talk a lot about norms.
I know it's ridiculous.
Blow it out your fucking face.
Yeah.
The Voting Rights Act is an extension of the same thing we've been seeing constantly.
It is.
It's the same. It's just we said the minute the attacks on DEI started that like this is the inevitable conclusion of progress, right? Like you got to a certain point where, white guys feel disenfranchised, and we forget correction. We are literally just consolidating as much power as fast as possible in the hands of a few people as possible. That's all this ever is.
And let's not forget the original intention of the legislative branch. It was meant to represent the actual citizens of the United States, not just white people, but all of them. And this is why it was necessary to redistrict some of these, because it's just simple representation, which again is the point. That was the point of it in the 18th century. This is not like a new idea here. So
now we're going to, the midterms are just basically going to be who can gerrymander the most.
Right.
But I'm not picking that because
picking?
that was always, this is like a return in history. I'm gonna actually pick the first one, Happy May Day. I'm gonna pick it because, like, in the midst of all of the chaos, where we've got AI and Sam Altman,
CEOs
and the
keep getting
Musk
richer.
trial, there is this just deep undercurrent of get paid now.
Yeah, it's like this, like
it is get paid.
It's like
now,
this shadow
fast.
class warfare that it's just like this constant drumbeat of power and wealth, and
it's happening so quickly because like the investor class, when it comes to voting in the alternative democracy, they don't see a trend until it's happened a few times, right? Like they don't get it. They don't pay attention to it. And they have a hard time with scale because there's so many companies to vote on. There's so many things happening at the same time.
Yeah, but that's their fault. They don't have to invest in
it doesn't matter whose fault
it is.
It's a human, like a stewardship team at a massive institutional asset manager is still considered an expense. It's not that they don't feel like they can rock the boat. It's like hard to execute. But while they're fucking hemming and hawing, while every investor is thinking like, what are we going to do? The SEC changed the rules. How do we got to come up with a really good approach before we really do anything. So let's just think this through. While that is happening, the money grab is unfucking precedented.
Yeah.
The amount of money these CEOs are paying themselves.
Yeah.
If you can go out and be like, we are going to exclude real world events from our pay because we don't think they should apply to us, that is a pure money grab. There's nothing else. That is, we want to double the pay of the CEO.
That wasn't insinuated, by the way, in their paper. That was said outright.
That was said specifically in words in all the plans. So I'm going with that one.
Oy vey.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, come on. We're supposed to do this show in under an hour. Can we do it?
It's not going to happen. All right, let's do Goodliest, which I can do quickly.
I actually like all of these.
All right, do yours.
France unveils plan to ditch all fossil fuels by 2050. I know you're going to laugh, but this is a first of its kind plan, phasing out coal by 2030, oil by 2045, gas by 2050. And it seems to be an actual plan.
Well, I'm happy if they, like every plan that's ever been come up with, they just swapped the plan out they just dropped it as soon as it was convenient.
Right, but everyone has stopped. Just don't stop. Keep doing. Even a plan is better than nothing. But what do you have?
My Goodliest is the war on social media with two headlines. Greece to ban anonymity on social media.
This is such a no-brainer.
This is so amazing.
It has to happen now.
They don't know how to implement it yet. But it is amazing.
Unplug the internet.
And the other one is Meta's threat to quit New Mexico is showing the world how little it cares about child safety, AG says.
Wait, but this is their reaction? Is that they're going to stop? This is a gift to New Mexican citizens.
The New Mexico passed legislation that they basically have to age gate the social media platforms because they do harm. And Meta said, then we'll just quit
Why?
New Mexico.
It's too complicated for them to figure out how to deal with that?
Oh, they can figure out how to make artificial general intelligence, but they can't figure out how to ask how old you are. Yeah, they haven't figured that one out. So I love it.
Think about that, though. Think about how we've come as a culture, where you couldn't buy cigarettes as a kid because there was a dude at the cash register and they'd figure it out. But now these people who own trillions in wealth, right? and
they don't know
control
how to
their
ask your
empires.
age.
They can't figure this out.
They can't figure out
too
how to ask how
complicated.
old you are.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. All right, let's do some assholes.
Yeah.
You ready?
Hey, what's the goodliest? What's the best? I'm gonna say Greece.
What's the best? Yeah, Greece is the best.
This has to happen.
right.
Go ahead.
Assholes. All right, I've got 3. I'm going to go quick.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
First
I ruined
asshole.
it. I ruined everything.
I know. There's so much in yours. First asshole is Disney's spineless chair, James Gorman.
Yeah, this is concerning. This whole Jimmy Kimmel thing is, and I know everyone else has probably already like talked about this, but just the hypocrisy of an administration that rails against like a cancel culture, saying like we're free speech absolutists, how dare you? And now
and then cancels them.
now we're getting rid of. We need to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel because he's telling dumb jokes about presidents, which they've done forever. The whole thing is just sick.
Well, the headline that I saw, it was in Ars Technica, and it's ABC can beat Trump's FCC license threat if owner Disney is willing to fight.
Well, of
if you
course.
don't know what I'm talking about,
Of course.
Jimmy Kimmel recorded a segment 2 days before
Doesn't even matter.
the attempt, assassination attempt, which I don't think was like he got
It doesn't
like
even
to the
matter.
front door.
He's telling jokes. No one
he
even
told
watches
a
the show.
joke.
It's like,
He told a joke about Melania can't wait to be a widow, and then 2 days later,
probably true,
the thing
actually.
happens, and they're using that as cloud cover to cancel Jimmy Kimmel and revoke the license for ABC, a Disney-owned
Not to mention,
television network.
this president was
to broadcast.
This president was threatening to wasn't he threatening to
Kill
destroy the
everybody.
civilization of Iran?
Destroy a civilization. Yes.
Like back
He
to the
said
Stone
destroy a
Age? Like
civilization.
anyway.
But Brandon Carr, the fucking toadiest of toadies, he even looks like someone you want to punch in the gut.
I was going to say face, but
he came out and said, like, oh, this isn't about the Jimmy Kimmel thing or free speech. This is about DEI. That's why we're
What?
fast
Seriously?
reviewing.
Wait, what?
That's what he said.
oh, that makes it better.
They announced a license review. This is the first time in like 40 years they've done an expedited license review, and they announced it the day after Trump said fire Kimmel or revoke their license. And Carr said, now we're going to do an expedited review, but we're not going to do it because of the Kimmel thing. We're going to do it because of DEI, which is now suddenly requires an expedited review. But the headline point is this is an easy win for Disney. You just fight back.
Especially
all you got to do is fight.
Especially now. I mean, we're in historically negative polls against the Trump administration right now. If Disney just stepped up and puffed out its chest and represented the First Amendment, everyone would be on their side. Everybody would be on their side.
They already are. The Cato Institute, the incredibly conservative Cato Institute said, quote, put out a blog, FCC's punitive review of ABC Disney's broadcast licenses shows the need to protect free expression. Ted Cruz came out and said, this is an attack on free speech.
What's happening?
I'm not kidding.
And this was the week that they indicted the former FBI head James Comey because he had written something in seashells or something.
That's correct. The far right lunatics who are are coming out against Brandon Carr in this situation. Meanwhile, the guy whose easiest fucking job in the world is to get up at a conference and say, yeah, this is a matter of free speech. We're going to take it to court and see what happens. Or if he doesn't even want to say that much, he could just say, it's unfortunate that the administration keeps targeting us. Who are you talking about? I'm talking about James Gorman.
Oh, the chair.
Who the chair of the Disney board, who is supposed to be the savant, bringing down CEO succession from the clouds.
Business News talks about him, yeah.
Well, you want to know what they actually said about him? This is a quote. This is from an article about him being chosen as chair to lead the succession planning. Quote, I don't know that there's anyone who could have navigated these kinds of leadership transitions better than James. Wharton School Dean Erica James said in an interview,
what does that even mean?
He's not afraid to do the hard things.
What is that?
Meanwhile,
is that just
Erica James,
unquantifiable feelings about James? What is that?
You know what? Erica James, Wharton School Dean, did not disclose in that article that she sat on the Morgan Stanley board with James Gorman.
Again, this is the why I laugh at the meritocracy constantly, because this is their fact-finding mission right?
I had some feelings. I
think
him.
This guy is great. Thus, he has merit for the job. But meanwhile, we're trying to destroy Disney because of DEI. It's like, okay.
The article at the time said James Gorman became Disney's chairman. He helped stabilize, revitalize Morgan Stanley in his 14 years in the C-suite, and he basically said that like he comes with strong opinions and sterling credentials. This is what James Gorman's reaction to what is an obviously political fucking hack attack on free speech. This is his reaction. Quote, "It's the job of the CEO with their team to figure out the right answer, and they'll be guided by the board." He then declined to say what advice he or the board would give,
God forbid,
regarding Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, "We have a terrific new CEO, Josh D'Amaro. He's world-class, so I'm sure he'll rise to the occasion and do what the right thing is."
I'm glad he's world-class. I feel better now.
What a fucking blowhard. You have opinions about everything. You can't talk about, like, this is like an obviously naked partisan attack on free speech.
Yeah.
You can't say anything?
How about the DEI thing? Why not step up and protect that too?
I mean, I just don't understand. Yeah, well, here's
the reason why I mention it is there was a headline about I forget his name, Tom Capuano. He's the CEO at Marriott International. He was giving a speech and
I saw that.
He basically said that we got to support DEI the same way we have to support like crazies like Alex Jones or whatever. We have to just support things. And I was thinking, like, look, I'm glad you said that, but then I looked at their proxy statements. I looked at 2022. The proxy was full of diversity and inclusion, full of it. And I was like, this is good stuff. Even tying it to bonus pay, all good stuff, right? From my perspective. Flash forward to now, nothing. Completely stripped out. So sitting on a stage at some conference that nobody's going to, that's not protecting DEI. That's not standing up for it. Like, come on, there's no backbone to these people.
Well, the worst part is investors had their shot to vote out a board that at the time we covered this extensively about how when Disney suspended Kimmel the first time after Charlie Kirk, and then unsuspended him.
Yeah.
We said over and over again, there's only two possibilities here. The board knew and okayed it, or they didn't know. In both cases, they're fucked up and wrong.
Right.
At Disney, right? They just deferred to Iger, whatever you want to do, boss. Or they said, yeah, this is a good idea, and it was a horrible idea, right? Like it was immediately obvious it was a horrible idea. Investors had a chance to vote that board out. Do you know who's still there? That entire fucking board, led by this blowhard asshole who can't give an opinion about what is naked political attacks on free speech.
I thought one of the
unbelievable to me.
One of the reasons why they backed down is because there was like a pretty effective cancel Disney moment going on. Weren't people like canceling their subscriptions and?
Yeah, of course they were, because Disney fucking.
But that's what got the board to react.
And the board didn't react.
Or whoever.
Iger reacted.
Yeah.
All right. Iger called unsuspended.
What else?
So James Gorman. Number 2.
I like that one.
AI overload.
Oh, well, this is every week, but what do you got?
Well, this one just blew my mind because it's not even an asshole. I don't even know what this is. It's just made me triggered. This is the headline. Popular pasta sauce brand is launching new device to record conversations.
I tagged this. Sometimes I'm going so quickly that I don't know what's real. Is that real?
It appears to be real because I went to the brand's website and it said it was sold out.
I don't understand. This
is Prego.
Yeah.
They make pasta sauce.
It's like water and sugar and some red.
It's not even sauce.
Yeah.
As an Italian, it's an affront.
Well, even
to
as
sauce.
a Jew, it's water and sugar and tomatoes. Not even tomatoes. Tomato paste.
It's owned by Campbell's.
Yeah,
so
okay,
there you go. There you go.
It's salt.
It is they were selling. It looked like a hockey puck.
Yeah.
And you put it in the middle of your dinner table.
Yeah.
And it records the conversation and offers conversation prompts using AI.
What?
When a soup company...
Prego? A pasta sauce? I don't understand this. Yeah.
It also happened to interweave in tidbits like ingredients and recipes for making meatballs and like bowls of pasta or whatever. Of course it did.
I'm going to listen to Prego for that advice.
When a soup company thinks that AI should be married to soup, and the answer is a fucking device
that
sits in the center of your table.
That's weird.
Because what? People can't talk to each other anymore. We're surrounded by our tech overlords all the time. So why don't we just jump the shark and like bow to it? What on earth is that? Who at Campbell's was like, you know what'd be awesome?
Well, can you blame them though? I mean, does anybody eat that stuff anymore?
I mean, they still exist as a publicly traded company.
Is it just like salty soups and disgusting sauces? All right, what else you got? I like that one.
All right,
what else?
Number 3, Chip Wilson.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're covering this.
And the male CEO industrial complex.
This is just. I mean, we're actually weren't we?
I
covered this last week.
We talked
right?
about him. Not last week, but we covered it maybe a little bit last week, but
Heidi,
like 5 weeks
what's
ago.
Her name? Heidi O'Neill. She came over
Heidi
from Nike.
O'Neill, we've been talking
new
about
CEO
it.
Lululemon. Yeah.
So Heidi O'Neill starts as the new CEO of Lululemon on September 9th. She's leaving Nike and she's going
after
to
decades
Lululemon.
of experience at Nike. Yeah.
Chip Wilson, the founder of Lululemon, who left the board and the company in 2015, and he left under a cloud of scandals.
Yeah, he's he's like a misogynist. He's a faddist. He's a blowhard.
He talks about like some people shouldn't wear Lululemon. It's not designed for them.
He's a big perv.
He's a class A asshole, right? Like, and they had to get rid of him effectively. He had to leave because he was hurting Lululemon by existing.
Yeah, he's like he's like Travis Kalanick over there at Uber. He's just a manhole.
So he started a proxy battle prior to Heidi O'Neill getting picked because he was saying Lululemon's board. He said this over and over again. Lululemon's board is failing. They've destroyed shareholder value. They have no creative juice. They have no brand, awareness. They're not good at this. They're bad at their jobs. He leaves out the part that he hand chose. I'm not exaggerating. 50% of this board.
That's not important.
They were his selections.
They need James Gorman.
This is the headline from yesterday. Lululemon founder takes aim at new CEO pick, escalates proxy battle or proxy fight.
Yeah. Remember our reporting was like he hadn't weighed in yet, which was kind of a dangerous, ominous sign.
He's now weighed in about a woman who has not started yet, saying that she's the wrong choice.
Of course.
She hasn't done anything yet. She hasn't even.
Well, no, she has. She has an impressive career already. I'm talking
about
space.
At Lululemon. Yeah.
Right, okay,
prior to Lululemon, she's done lots and lots of things. But here is how bad it is. This is how sexist it's built into the system. Wall Street, they actually sank the shares of the company 13% on the announcement of Heidi O'Neill. And I read the analyst reports. They critiqued her tenure at Nike because she pushed direct-to-consumer. And it didn't work out well for Nike. Direct-to-consumer sales didn't work out well. They did not acknowledge the fact that Nike is a dual-class controlled company with the company's founder, Nepo baby kid on the board, Travis Knight.
Yeah.
The executive chair was the CEO, Mark Parker. He's still there. And the current CEO, Elliot Hill,
it's her
also
fault,
on the board.
It's her fault.
And O'Neill also had like a babysitter. She was the head of consumer product and brand, and Craig Williams was chief commercial officer, both NEOs.
Yeah.
And Nike thought highly enough of her to give her a massive stock award last year, $11.4 million stock award to keep her around.
Yeah, because what she did really well is she sold women's products, which is what Lululemon is.
But she made the decision all by herself.
Right.
It was entirely her. And here is here's how bad the divide is. This is the reality. Lululemon is 60% female board with 70% influence. They have a plus 10% power gap, basically.
It's incredible. Before even adding her, right?
Before adding her.
Yeah. As it should be at Lululemon, frankly.
The analytics of this board from Free Float actually suggest they have a new analysis about deference to the CEO. And this board has no deference to the CEO.
Good. It's like a European board.
Yeah,
well, are they Canadian, this company? He's Canadian, isn't he?
He's Canadian.
Is this Canadian?
Not Canadian
no,
company.
okay.
I don't think so. But the only directors of merit, according to the metrics, are women on this board. Meanwhile,
yeah, we can actually measure merit over here. We're not just making stuff up.
Bill Campbell, an analyst at Paragon Intel, said Heidi does not look like the obvious architect of the deeper reset this moment demands.
Okay. Does not look like? This sounds like ISS. Like maybe not. Yeah. Could be perhaps.
The women analysts on Wall Street, Sharon Zakfia, said she brings a significant breadth of knowledge in a women's performance apparel, and her experience accelerating speed to market is particularly welcome at Lululemon, where lead times have ballooned to about 24 months.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that always irritates me.
That was an analysis.
Yeah. Here's the thing that irritates me.
Looks like analysis.
Is that the board is supposed to be like responsible for breathing great ideas and initiatives, and the CEO is supposed to be your operational manager, who shouldn't be on the board, but who takes the board's great ideas and enacts them. And Heidi does seem like the right person for that. But in America, it's like we've created this system where the CEO has to have all the power, all the ideas, the operational excellence, the sales ability.
I don't even care about that.
Like why? Like. Let the board do its job and let her put it into operation.
I don't even care about whether Heidi has the greatest ideas or not. What I know is the board picked by Chip Wilson who has spent, I read the interactions between Wilson and the board because they're in the filings now. He just calls them constantly and badgers them and tells them what he wants. And then as soon as they're like, well, why don't we give you this? He asks for more. He is such a fucking man
What
baby.
percentage of the shares does he still own?
8.5%.
So why do they have to listen to him so much? Who cares?
Well, they're doing the board is roughly doing the right thing.
I guess.
And they hired a CEO because they have been without one since January, and they're sitting here wasting time with Chip Wilson, and they said basically we need a CEO.
But if he votes no against everyone, 8% of the votes no, and everyone, why don't they just talk to their other investors and try to appeal to them?
Yelling. My point here is he's yelling at board members he chose. When he just doesn't like women, and he wants them to dress in tight clothes.
And that's actually been, that's something that's been noted in the press.
Every analysis and the stock dropping is not a reflection necessarily of Heidi O'Neill so much as it is the fact that she's a woman in the middle of a proxy battle with a fucking angry man baby.
But Bill Campbell said that she does not look like the obvious architect of the deeper reset this moment demands.
She doesn't appear to be that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the other analyst that I can get a quote from has a full analysis about
she's talking about
everything.
Lead times and Bill's just
those are your options.
All right.
I'm over it. Gorman, AI overload, Chip Wilson.
Oh boy, this is tough actually. Now that you, I was gonna go Gorman and just get this over with.
But Chip Wilson is such a dick.
I didn't realize that Disney, that this FCC thing, they're using DEI as a cover.
Yeah, that's his thing.
So Gorman and what's his name? James DeMauro. That's the new CEO. Josh DeMauro.
Josh.
They actually have the opportunity to stand up to two important, pillars of American society, which is representing diversity, because we are the melting pot. This is the thing that we all grew up being proud of, and free speech, which is the First Amendment of the Constitution. So they have an opportunity to stand up and do two very American things, so that they're not is a grave disappointment from the most famous media company in the world. But
they have Republicans and Democrats on their side, and he can't fucking open his mouth and say a thing.
Yeah, so that's why I was going to lean them, but Chip Wilson, I mean, to destroy her tenure before she even begins, and we know this wouldn't happen if it was a man. I'm sorry, it just wouldn't. I don't know how to do this one. I'm going to go. I'm not usually this confused. I'm going to go Disney. I'm going to go Gorman.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's the right call.
Yeah.
I think that's the right
But
call.
I've never seen this before. I've never seen what do they call a pre-attack? What do you call that when you attack something before it even happens. What Chip Wilson is doing to Heidi O'Neill. A preemptive attack.
It's preemptive.
It's like he's breaking
strike.
the glass ceiling before she even gets in the building. He's like throwing rocks at the ceiling. I don't know what he's doing, but it's
the glass
horrible.
cliff. He's broke. He basically was like he pushed her off the glass cliff.
She's failed already
before she's even gotten onto
that's just horrible.
the mountain.
Horrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
All right,
let's wrap up the show.
Headlines, winners,
go quickly now.
Predictions.
I have one. Oh well. My headline was the Lululemon story. I kind of forgot about this. Lululemon's new CEO is already in the hot seat. She hasn't even started. That's the headline. So hats off to that reporting at the Wall Street Journal, because I'm glad you included her gender in that, because it's important, actually.
I loved this headline that you pulled. 51%. Just in case you can't do math, that's a majority.
Yeah.
51% of U.S. employees have cried at the office within the last month, according to new report.
Well, and just so people know, if you're not from America, they say about like 30% actually vote for evil losers like Trump. So it's actually not a majority of Americans that support this guy. So, but it is a majority of the workers that cry at the office.
It is a majority that cry at work. Yeah. Do you have a winner?
It's disheartening. My winner is the one and only. I don't do him enough, because we tend to like try not to talk about him because it's overwhelming. But I'm going to go back to Elon Musk here because of this great headline. Only Elon Musk can fire Elon Musk from SpaceX filing shows. So that's a great headline.
That is pretty good.
I mean, corporate governance, what a beautiful thing, right? I mean, hats off to the listing exchanges, to all the investors for just doing absolutely nothing.
What a wonderful circle jerk it is. I mean, like they are willing to give up every right you could ever have in the history
opposite of the American system. This is the exact opposite what our founding slave owner fathers created when they created the checks and balances of the Constitution. This is the exact opposite of all of that.
I mean, you're going to have no rights at SpaceX.
And this guy,
he's going
to space. He wants to colonize space.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants.
What do you got?
Mine was, the winner is actually Earth.
Uh-huh.
And because I saw a similar headline, SpaceX ties Musk compensation to Mars colonization goal.
Oh, well, the good news is he won't get that money because he's not going to figure that out.
Well, I can only assume it means that Musk has to colonize Mars himself.
Yeah.
And therefore Earth wins because he's
gone.
He's on Mars. He's gone. He's on Mars.
I just don't believe in his ability to actually be successful.
Oh, so you don't shit on my winner. My winner was going to be Earth.
All I know is that the local
Earth
supermarket I go to, Hannaford. I don't know why we call it Hannaford in some places and Stop and Shop in others. I don't understand that. It's the same dumb company. They have this huge area in the back. It's all these Tesla superchargers. There's no Teslas.
Yeah, and everyone on fucking Earth is now forced to like get a converter for
right.
Like,
I mean, because around me, it's like
Subarus,
Hyundai. It's like, where are the Teslas? This guy can't even sell cars. It's like great. All right.
What do you got? A prediction?
All right, you got to bear with me. My prediction is it's a little dumb joke here, but maybe it's not actually that dumb. In light of the Sergey Brin, he's mad.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to.
In light of Ken Griffin, he's mad at the lack of judgment from the mayor of New York City. It's like the lack of judgment. But anyway, billionaires start to introduce their own taxes on normal people, regular people, right? The working class.
I think they were just called taxes.
Like a sidewalk wear and tear tax. Okay? So people are charged per step. Because I'm thinking of the things that billionaires don't do. Billionaires get dropped off by their car services. They walk right into the building. I mean, I lived in New York City. You'd live there too. One thing you don't see is you don't see rich people walking around taking the subway.
Yeah, they're not walking around.
They get driven. They walk right in the door. So I think regular people should be charged per step, and they're going to be tracked via mandatory smart shoes. So they're going to have to wear shoes that the tech billionaires develop themselves that track your steps, okay? And they'll get taxed on that. And then also a public bench depreciation fee. So if they sit longer than 90 seconds on a bike, on a bench, they're going to call that an asset strain. See, I was trying to make an ass joke, but I don't think that's a good joke there. I don't know. I was trying. And it's tracked via mandatory smart boxer briefs. So your boxer briefs are going to register the time that you sit on a public bench, and then you're going to be charged for that because we should be charging.
You're using a public asset, and everything should have a price tag.
We got to just start. We got to start attacking back. The billionaires class is getting attacked too much. They got to start fighting back.
Finally, they get to fight back. My prediction is, because I saw this headline, because here's the headline. Jamie Dimon says bureaucracy sinks companies and the solution may be getting rid of the jerks who don't want to solve it. I couldn't go a week
I didn't open that one. I didn't want to look at that one. Tell me, what does that mean? What's he talking about?
He basically was like, I don't know. He says everything. Here's my prediction.
Yeah.
JP Morgan begins firing the 51% of jerks who cried at the office.
Oh, so women.
So it's not. They didn't say women cried.
Well,
at the
I
office.
only said that because 51% isn't that aren't there just slightly more women than men in the culture? And I bet it's mostly women crying because he's enforcing a come back to the office thing, right? And that's disrupting women's lives more than men's, I'm guessing, because. Don't they say that women, even the high-earning women, still do like much more of the housework and much more of the chores?
Oh, of course.
In fact,
of course. Not in my house.
I know we got to end this show, but I got to wedge this in right here. I saw this a picture on the internet, this display at Whole Foods for Mother's Day, and it was all cleaning stuff. It was all like chemical-free cleaning stuff. That was Mother's Day gift ideas, cleaning.
Yeah, clean something.
And
ladies.
only like rich women who work at JP Morgan can actually afford to go to Whole Foods, and they have to get Mother's Day gift cleaning products.
Well, Jamie Dimon says that the solution is to get rid of any jerks who don't want to solve bureaucracy, and if you're crying at your desk, you're probably part of the bureaucracy.
Probably a jerk, yeah.
So my prediction is you
that was an exhausting show.
That was it.
Too much.
That's Hazelnut. Rollis.
I was waiting for you to play me out, and then I realized that there's no music.
There's no music in fucking Riverside. I'm your analyst, Altman.
That's why
we are
so
free floats. Come back in like 10 minutes when we do another show, Proxy Countdown, which is coming out today.
Different channel, though. Not everyone who listens to
different
channels.
Go to Proxy Countdown.
I
don't know why. You should listen to both.
Well, because it was your stupid idea to separate them. That's why.
It's fabulous.
Yeah,
it's fabulous. You can go get Shareholder Primacy, another show.
Yeah,
produced
third one
by
that
Free
we've
Float
separated.
Media.
Yeah.
Free Float Media. That's Mike Levin and Ann Lipton, who are actual geniuses. They're smart. SpaceX this week.
We're not smart.
They did a Free Float shout out. They talked about the deference data that Free Float has at the end of their show, an independent director. So you can go check that out because it's awesome. Until then, good